In fact, I created a simulation here to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Okay? This is a nice little visualization that I put together. And there are some rules to this simulation to explain what you're looking at here. Now, there's a bunch of white dots. And there's a bunch of red, well, not as many red dots. The red dots would be group B. The white dots are group A. Now, the white dots are like white people. The white dots, when they encounter another dot, if it has less than they do, or if it's small, if the dot is smaller than it is, it will give a portion of itself to the smaller dot in order to try to reach an equilibrium. And every white dot will do this. So every white dot, when it reaches another dot, will give some of itself to the other dot. Whether it's white or red, or it doesn't really matter. The red dots, however, they have a different strategy. The red dots, if they encounter another red dot, will give some of itself to the red dot. If it encounters a white dot, regardless of size, it'll take a little bit from the white dot. The dots, if they reach a certain size, they will split into two dots, so like mitosis, because it'll get big enough to reproduce. So let's have a look at when you have these two groups with different survival strategies. One is the universalist white strategy of treat everyone the way you want to be treated. And then two, the red dots, where their survival strategy is different, and that is treat everyone like yourself, like you want to be treated, but then treat everyone else as a resource that you can take from. So let's have a little look. Let's start this simulation up and see how it's going there. In fact, I might speed it up just a tad. There we go. Already, you're starting to get some pretty big red dots. It doesn't take long. Now they are splitting into two, reproducing as they suck the resources from the white dots that are just trying to be everybody's friends. Little by little, those white dots are getting pretty small. And in fact, they're vanishing once the dot gets to it has a minimum size. So once it gets to a certain size, it disappears. It vanishes. It's unable to reproduce. In fact, you might notice that none of the white dots ever get to a size large enough to reproduce because they're all sending their generational wealth over to Africa or to 1877 Cars for Kids, which pays for Jewish kids to go on vacation in Israel, or whatever they're doing, but they're not giving it to their children, and they are not keeping it within their group. And so look at that. It didn't take long, did it? It didn't take long for these two groups of dots to have a dominant force. That's what happens when you believe in universalism and you treat everyone the way that you want to be treated, without any regard as to what group they're a member of, and you have people in your environment that don't play by the same rules.